leave Canada next Thursday, and I'm in quarantine for 2 weeks after that.
Crikey,
so I get out of quarantine the 11th of September, and I go straight into this very cool gig, which is a TV series. A TV series looking at translating New Zealand songs in English into Te Reo Māori.
Ah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, be really cool.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
And have you made any kind of mental thoughts about what you're going to do while you're in quarantine?
I'm just going to write songs. I've got most of the album. This is for the first time for many albums. I've got enough material to make an album. And normally I'm scratching at this stage, and I'm really pleased with it. And I just have. I think I can sort of sit back and let see what comes. See, now that I'm listening to all the songs, I can sort of see what I'd like to hear among them.
Yep. Because it's been 5 years since the last album, right?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty fast for me. I think my longest gap was 7 years between something and something. Between maybe the last Mountain Birds album and the first solo one. I don't know.
Yeah. So the process of sorting through these songs, what does that entail?
Well, I haven't really been so much sorting through them. I'm just quite slow. I'm just a slow writer. I have sketches, and the sketches can sit around for a long time before they seem to want to be finished. And if I push it, I can end up with some halfway decent things, but it's better to wait for the right time.
That's an understatement.
Well, I mean, I tend not to. I tend not to finish an album with about 3 or 4 rejects.
Gotcha.
A lot of people, I think, they make an album and they work really, really hard, and they end up with maybe 15, 16 songs, and they cull it down to 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
I've never had that luxury. I've usually maybe got 9, and then I'm scratching. Find old things or things that I wrote for films or something.
Gotcha.
But this time it's been much. I guess because I've had a bit more time, and I'm in a really good space for writing at the moment. Just in my head, some good things have come out. That some of them are realization of sketches that started like way back, maybe 6, 7 years ago.
Right.
Sometimes things that there's one song which is something that Harry Sinclair and I in the front lawn, we sketched a fragment of something, not even a song, just a rough idea of a subject that it might be nice to write a song about, and we've never got anywhere near it until now.
Gotcha.
Hopefully it'll be on the album, and
Very cool.
that'll have been in gestation for maybe 30 years or 35 years or something.
It should be done by now, huh?
It should be done by now. I'll give it to somebody else.
Right. And you got this tour coming up that's just been announced with the others, with Shayne Carter and James Duncan and Chris O'Connor. So how did that come about? Well,
I just as I got more into the songs, I realized that they kind of needed to have more wind blowing through them than just me.
Yeah.
And Shayne, at the end of last year, we hung out, and he was saying, like, I'd like to play guitar on your next record.
Nice.
And so I've held him to that. I know he's busy. He's an award-winning author. He's got a whole lot. Yeah, it's a great read.
It is indeed. Yeah.
And hopefully he'll take time out from his busy after dinner speaking schedule to come and play with us.
Oh, I assume you read the book.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of it personally, reading through it and
being
a fellow kind of musician from the same era and probably knowing all the same people?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I don't think I was reading it on that level, really. I mean, I just it's a really strong piece of work with kind of honest and brutal stuff about his family, and then some tremendous insights into this absurd world that we inhabit of music. and because some of his insights come from being chemically altered, they're a great read. I mean, they're really it's amazing. It's amazing that he could even remember some of those events that he's talking about. But maybe he's just sort of piecing them together from other people's witness statements.
Yeah. And has the thought gone through your head to do a similar thing, to write a memoir?
Well, it would be very different if I did. I've thought about writing things a lot, but quite often I'll start thinking about it and I'll be derailed into fiction. I'm more interested in making stuff up than just about telling people about my interesting life.
Okay. So with Shayne in the band, when you're touring here, and you guys are gonna, I assume, do some of these songs that have been waiting and gestating or whatever. I mean, he's a very distinctive guitar player. So do you think about that? Are you trying to figure out how what he does is going to work with what you do?
Yeah, very much. I mean, there was one point in the writing process where I had a bunch of songs which were quite claustrophobic, and I suddenly wanted landscape. I suddenly wanted a song about a big outdoor space, and I could imagine a big, slow, dark song with wonderful shapes, that Shayne could put down, and that's a real. I find that really helpful. I used to find it helpful in the Mutton Birds, to be able, because we got to know each other so well, to be able to think as I'm writing a song. Ross would do something really cool here, or Alan would come up with something really cool here, or David would create a wonderful atmosphere here. And because you don't have that luxury when you're just writing for yourself. You can imagine. I mean, and even with the last album, because I started it with Tom Rodwell in mind, I had some ideas about how he could color in some of the empty spaces.
Yeah.
But with this band, I can really hear it feeling like a band. So it's really exciting. And it was, partly, I mean, I did that tour earlier this year with the Mutton Birds, and we had such a ball playing as a band that it sort of made me kind of appreciate again what a group of individuals can bring to an idea, bring to a song.
I mean, you have several bands that you can draw from at any point if you want to. It's pretty impressive that you can do that. And I think New Zealand is kind of unique in that way. Everybody's on the same island together, and nobody's going anywhere for the most part. So that's dead right. That's dead right. And also, most of the creative hookups are artist to artist.
Yeah. Whereas in a bigger place, your publicist might come to you and say, "Would you like to collaborate with this person? It could be it could be a good look,
Yeah.
And so there's sort of secondhand collaborations, and the same goes in New Zealand for musicians collaborating with filmmakers and choreographers, and wonderful. You get wonderful synergies because people are not separated from each other by a whole bunch of infrastructure. I mean, conversely, you can moan about the fact that there isn't a lot of infrastructure.
Well, there's not much of anything anymore.
Not right now.
No.
There's lots of creative stuff though, lots of collaboration, and I think a sense of a community pulling together that maybe we didn't have before, and that's got to be good.
Yeah, it almost feels like this is kind of a leveling of the playing field and taking off and starting again from wherever everybody is at this point in time. So
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not back there yet, but I'm reading up about all these tours that are getting up and running, and it seems to me that it would be a great time to start something new in New Zealand right now. It'd be a great time to just go, put your hand up and say, "Come and listen to me."
Yep.
I think that would be, I mean, it's important that audiences are always prepared to give something new a shot.
Yeah.
But particularly at a time like this, because you can demonstrate your faith in music. You can demonstrate your faith in the music community by just going out and buying a ticket. And I hope a lot of people are doing that. I think they are. I get the impression that people are.
We did have about a month or a month and a half where we were free to go and see bands, and then we're locked down again. And during that time, obviously there were no international acts coming in, so it was all local stuff, and it was fantastic. You know, you go down to the wine cellar and see somebody that you never heard of and be blown away and go, what the heck? Why haven't I been doing this all along? You know?
No, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. I think we've got pretty open ears in New Zealand to local music, particularly over the past maybe 10 or 15 years, more so than in the old days. But now's a chance to open them even further, and as you say, go and listen to somebody take a punt.
Yep. And it seems very self-support. Everybody's supporting everyone else. There's not a lot of competition. And you've been doing this for a while. Was it always like that here back in the 80s?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always been a really good sense that it's a people business, and you got to look after each other, because the position that you're in now, relative to the other person that you're dealing with, might be completely reversed in a few months. You know, whatever way the polarity goes. So you got to look after the people around you. But you know, there's just so much more now. There's so much more management, more more network.
Yep.
That's got to be good.
Yep. So getting back to new music and your possible new album coming up and getting in. Have you thought about, are you going to record with this band that you're going to be touring with? Or
yeah, that's the idea. Definitely. Yeah. They're all signed up for that.
Great.
I've got time booked with Ben Edwards in Littleton.
Great.
I've never worked with him before, but I love what he does. And I think it'd be really interesting just to put ourselves in a different situation and not piece the album together on laptops, but make it in an old school kind of way. Pretty much the way we did Warm Hand, where we took a bunch of recording equipment out to a barn at Bethel's Beach, and we just lived out there and made the record. I think there's something really cool that happens when you do that.
And this sounds very exciting. And so hopefully this time next year it'll all be out there and ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, if we get it done, I mean, hopefully we'll get it all done by Christmas, and then it's just a question of how locked down are we still at that point? Like, when can I next come back? And then when I come back, do I do quarantine? And all that sort of stuff. Because I'll head back here to Canada after I'm like in New Zealand for about 5 months now.
Right.
And then I'll head back here for a few months, and then come back, and then it's just a question of how much touring we can get up and running, and which of this. There's a couple of Australian festivals interested in us, and it's which ones of them are still going to be operating. Everything's so fragile at the moment. You've got to revise your plans.
Well, it was amazing how abruptly everything changed here last week. Yep. You know, 1 minute nobody's thinking about we're living normal lives, and the next minute, boom.
Yeah,
we're all locked down again, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, hopefully people in Auckland are looking after each other. And
it seems that way. It feels that way.
Yeah.
I've just been in the house talking to musicians. It's just like, this is what I do all day long now. It's fantastic.
You should get out and talk to normal people. You'll have a distorted view of life.
I don't think there are any normal people on Simon Street.
Okay.
So. Anyway, well, thank you very much for talking to me about this. I can't wait to see the show, because I mean, with a band like that and with your songs, it's going to be fantastic. And we'll talk again when the album is getting ready, eh?
Cool, man. Definitely.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.